Shalom, everyone. My name is Nakaraya. I hope you are doing very good. I hope you had a very good day. Let us consider this video to be the completion of the assignment of collage of essentially life given by Professor Nguyen regarding the past, the present, and the future. I have selected 3 consecutive photos describing, or rather I'd say, illustrating the conglomeration of things that was happening within my mind within those contexts, and how that transpired into the next sequence, which would be the present, and how I might predict through prudence how that might translate into the future, hopefully, due to my optimistic view of it. So, without further ado, let's try to make this as concise as possible. You guys may see on the screen at this point the pictures that I've chosen associated with the past. On the far left, you will see me with a Jersey Mike's hat, or visor, excuse me, a Nike visor, which is only given to, and of course, I am not being, how would you say, facetious in the slightest. This the visor of the Nike is given only to the legends and the honchos of the sub-making world, which was very difficult to acquire, but not fulfilling in the least in the regards to the longevity of where I wanted to be in life, which of course at that specific time I didn't really know, right? So playing that out, I ended up meeting what apparently ended up being the love of my life. In that second picture next to that one, you can see me proposing to my wife now, and most importantly, she actually said yes, which is always very nice, so I'm very, very happy about that outcome. And there was also trials and tribulations associated with it, but we always rise, which is always something to be very proud of. And to the right of that one, we have me in Michigan, and I chose this picture. It's very important, at least to me, how I was basically healed from the existential crisis that I was having regarding spirituality and where I wanted to be financially and just career-wise, since at this point, as you can see, I am a married man now with that golden ring on my finger. And that sort of, marriage, it puts it really quickens the maturation of the responsibility that is to be upon your head, especially as a male figure, who traditionally is raised into being the provider and protector. So at that point, I had to ask myself, where do I want to be? And is that in alignment with what my scope is of the divine? And so with that, I had my solution in Michigan, which was very liberating. And so with that, we're going to transition to the present. Now you see in the background is my banner for my now rebranded channel, Nakaraya's Council, where I discuss philosophical and psychological principles and things that I deem to be both interesting and beneficial to the psychological and spiritual health and benefit and gain of my viewers. Shameless plug here. Go on in and check me out. It's just Nakaraya in the YouTube search engine. Feel free, feel free. In the upper left-hand corner, we have my book that I'm currently working on, which is The Wisdom of Nakaraya. It is the archaic conglomeration of proverbial texts that I've crafted myself based off of my own anecdotes, as well as what I've studied within the biblical anthology. And I sort of morph that archaic illustration into a contemporary format that's palatable somewhat to society today, which it's really a project in the making. I'm really proud of how it's turned out thus far, and I can't wait to see the progression of it and how that manifests in the future. Below that, we see College Just Ahead, which is very good for me because at this point I realized, you know what? I've always been good at therapeutic services for other persons. And what that made me think of was, okay, well, if this is something that I'm naturally good at, then what would be the benefits of if I backed it with educational prowess? And that is when college became a real question, you know. And then when I looked into the definition of PhD, specifically in terms of psychology, because I want to be a clinical psychologist, that's the ultimate decision I came to. But the thing is, the PhD, it means Doctor of Philosophy, and philosophy in the Greek means philosophia, which translates roughly into English as lover of wisdom, which was my divine instruction at that moment when I was in Detroit, which was to be wise, whatever that meant, of course. I had no idea. So I studied the wisdom literature associated with the biblical corpus. So, moving along, I digress. To the right of me, or I'm sorry, to the right of the college just ahead sign there, we have me, or my wife and I's very first year anniversary, which is very, very nice. In this place that we are there, we are in this restaurant that I took her to after I proposed, which was in the other picture that we just went from the past. And this, of course, is just the logo of the picture above displaying me is just a headshot of the logo for my channel, which is always very nice. So we then go on to what I hope to be the future based off of my predictions, hopefully. In the upper left, you know, I chose these two pictures as a resemblance of my proclivities for ambition, which is pretty interesting to me. But for those of you who don't know, this on the far left, upper left corner is none other than Wilhelm Wundt, which is a German philosopher who built the first psychological laboratory and it was I guess if you would say, the pillar of psychological study as a legitimate discipline, which is very, very interesting. Wilhelm Wundt is considered a great, and so in this very, humorous setting that I was in currently when I took the picture right next to him, I was said that I actually looked a little bit like him based off of the photo that I produced. So, you know what? I took a picture trying to catch his likeness within my own, how would you say, grasp of my humanity, if you will. And I thought it would look pretty nice. I think it's a good illustration of how I feel about my potential. And perhaps I could be a great. And that isn't necessarily what matters, that's just the outcome of my pride. But as long as I am great in the eyes of myself and those who love me, that is the only thing that's truly important, of course. I digress. Below that, we have this plane. This is alluding to one of my lectures upon the lesson of the pilot. But this also indicates is I want to travel in the future. I do want to travel. I want to travel with my wife, and I want to get paid to do so. And how I would like to do that is to get paid to speak. Just like this fine gentleman in the upper right-hand corner, for those of you who don't know, I don't know how you wouldn't. You've at least heard of him. His name is Jordan Peterson, whom is the personification of my inspiration in clinical psychology specifically. Very fine gentleman, very articulate individual, and he inspires me to keep on keeping on, as you would say. Below Jordan Peterson, you have the photo that I got of this family, and what that is to say is I don't believe that me personally can truly be successful without cultivating a family of my own, since that is a very highly held value within my heart. Definitely want to create a family. And then right next to this, concluding this beautiful display of pictures that I've gotten here, is a a Snapchat, or how would you say, Snapchat picture. As real as it looks, it's actually not real. It's an old people filter, which was really interesting to me, so I decided to take a picture. What this means to me, ladies and gentlemen, is just I would like to grow old. You know, it is taken for granted, actually considering the longitudinal process of life itself, you know. And the thing about wisdom, especially as it relates to gerontology, is the main thing regarding the goal fix, if you will, between the youth and the elderly in regards to the comprehension of wisdom is the paradigm shift of time. As the youth, we have no choice but to think, oh, well, in 5 years or in 10 years, in 15 years, I want to do this, I want to be here, etc., etc. It's natural within our programming, which leads to the acquisition of knowledge. The thing, however, with the elderly is they've done all of that, and now they start to confront the how would you say, the philosophical implications of the friction of their mortality confronting them. And so once there is neurological literature that suggests once that happens, you start to become a lot more emotionally regulated, and you start to understand what's really important. And so I try to incorporate that into my youthful self at 21 years old. Married at 21 is almost unheard of in this time and age. But it can be done. I want to hone in on that for my youth, but I want to see how I will evolve into an elder, and hopefully by then I will be a respected elder. And that's going to conclude this video, this nice little assignment. Again, thanks to Professor Nguyen. I do really hope I'm pronouncing her name correct. I believe I am. If I'm not, I do apologize. I will close out now at this point. I appreciate all viewers for their attention and their listening. And I hope that you all stay safe, stay dangerous, and as always, be wise. Shalom.